AMY McCREADY is the founder of Positive Parenting Solutions, and she's got some advice for Karen, as well as for all parents who are struggling with this.
Well, I think Karen's situation is so common, and nobody intends to raise an entitled child, but it starts small. You know, you start by picking up after them because it's just easier. Or you buy them that toy at Target because it'll keep them quiet so you can finish your shopping. But then it just snowballs.
Right.
But what we know is that children misbehave for two primary reasons. One is for attention, and the other is power. So if we're not proactively filling their attention basket in positive ways, they're going to act out with negative attention-seeking behaviors. The same thing is true for power. They also have a power basket, believe it or not. And we don't think about that as kids having a power basket, but they have this hardwired need for power. I think we've gotten into this situation where we've told parents what they shouldn't do. They shouldn't spank. They shouldn't raise their voice. They shouldn't criticize their kids or humiliate them. But we haven't done a great job of telling them what they should do. The first step is to give him a set allowance, but we're going to give him an allowance to help him learn to manage money and be responsible for expenses like cell phone, maybe his clothing, entertainment, all that kind of stuff. One of the ways is to do what we call mind, body, and soul time, and that is spending time with our kids one-on-one on a daily basis, when we're totally present with them in mind, body, and soul. Things in society are probably not going to change. We're always going to be busy. We're always going to feel stressed. So I think we have to figure out how to manage that. Parents who yell at their kids are not bad parents. In my experience, this is the number one thing that parents do want to work on in terms of their parenting effectiveness. But when you talk about tantrums, and very often our gut reaction for a tantrum is to stop the tantrum or try to talk them down off the ledge. But that just reinforces the behavior.
Makes it worse.
It does. So for tantrums, you want to just disengage. I always tell parents, your child has a right to have a tantrum, but you have the right not to participate. But one of the ones that's most effective is called the when-then.
What is that?
When-then is used when you need the child to do something, to get the room clean, get dressed for the morning, get their homework done. And what you would do is delay or deny a privilege until that task is done. And it requires some courage on the parent's part. You have to be willing to let the coach know that we didn't make soccer practice because Johnny didn't get done what he needed to do. Yeah, and I think the other piece of that is putting consequences in place.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
So, you know, our rule for the summer is your family contributions have to be done by 12 noon.
Yeah.
If they're not,
what happens?
Then you lose your privileges. For consequences to be effective, we want the child to learn for the future, and we want the parent not to be the bad guy.
Right.
So the 5 R's ensure that's going to happen, and parents can start that today and see results. Now, let's face it, we're all human, and we're all going to lose it from time to time, but I think what you suggested is right on, that when we do lose it, let's fess up and talk to our kids and say, you know what, I handled this inappropriately. I was angry, or I was frustrated, nothing wrong with that, but I used that anger in an inappropriate way, and I'm sorry that I yelled at you. It's something that I'm really working on controlling. Take time for training and talk about that whiny voice. And especially with young kids, it can be really fun to kind of role play that and practice your whiniest voice and your normal voice and say, you know, which one sounds better to you? And so once they begin to recognize what you mean by that whiny voice, then you can start to correct it.